Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Ultimate Summit 2016 Warm-Up number 3. I am your host, Charlene Reeves, and Maximize Your Wealth Now TV is sponsoring this summit. And I just want to welcome all of you and thank you for joining us tonight. I think you're going to find some really interesting information. And what I love about this show is that we have an opportunity to get to know the participants of the Ultimate Summit from the inside out. You know, mostly interviews are all done with whatever the business is, and it's very businessy. And what I try to do is help you understand the soul behind the programs, the soul behind the summit participant, because they are all such women, wonderful women, and there's 9 of us. And what I'd like to do is start by introducing each one as we go along. So let's get started right away. So Sumaya, let's start with you tonight.
Hi, Charlene.
Hi.
I'm Sumaya O'Grady, and I'm Soul Alchemist. I work with divine messengers, and they are speakers and leaders who have a calling from really deep within, a calling that they just can't say no to deliver their message to the world. And I guide them and support them with my programs to experience the essential 3 pillars of divine protection, divine abundance, and divine strength and power, so that they will then connect deeply into their souls for guidance and confidence that's truly unshakable.
Wow, Sumaya, that's really wonderful because people need unshakable confidence in order to move forward and take the next steps in their life. So thank you for that. And next we have Iris, Empress Iris. Hi, Iris. Welcome.
Hi, Charlene.
I always love that smile. It's so beautiful. So go ahead, Iris. Tell us about you.
Well, it thrills me to support you who serves from the heart. Maybe you're a visionary or a caregiver, a nurse or teacher. You serve from the heart, making a difference. I'm Empress Iris, and based on 39 years of guiding hundreds of clients to be more powerful and more joyous, I have created a highly effective system of mindset and lifestyle upgrades deepened by divine guidance.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Iris. And Dot, our modern day medicine woman, welcome.
Hi, Charlene. Good to
Hi.
be here. Well, I'm Dot Claire, your modern day medicine woman and change agent for peace and harmony. I really am passionate about working with women who are in the middle of a transition due to a heartbreak, maybe a heartbreak over a messy divorce, or a heartbreak over the loss of their loved one and a job loss. All of them have this commonality of seeming to have lost themselves, and they're feeling overwhelmed and in a place of fear of not knowing where to go next and being stuck in their emotions. So what if you could accept your past, be at peace with who you are, and be excited about your life again? Get your life back, I call it, coming home to yourself. Well, with 35 years experience as a professional nurse, intuitive healer, and a shaman, and author of Authentic Alignment, I've midwifed hundreds of women through that pain, fear, and resistance of change to permanently shift their being, to remove the past and manifest peace and harmony in their life. And I really am excited about being able to share my program.
Thank you, Dot. And let's move to Cynthia Stott. Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Charlene. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here.
You're welcome. So, Cynthia, share with us what you're doing to make an impact in the global sense of things.
Well, I'm a global visibility expert, and I help entrepreneurs or support entrepreneurs to tap into their heart and soul, to find what they're really most passionate about, and to make money from that while they sleep, and to share it in virtual programs so that they can be sharing with people in a local audience, a national audience, an international audience on the internet through Facebook in ways that Facebook can't hide your posts.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you, Cynthia. And now we'll move to Carolyn C.J. Jones. Hi, C.J. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Charlene. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm sure glad you are here. So share with us what it is that you do.
I'd love to. Do you have a story that's running your life, robbing you of joy, causing you stress, anxiety, and resentment? Maybe it's a messy divorce or a job you lost unfairly. Perhaps it's something from childhood that still is affecting you. What if you could change your story and it changed your life? I'm Carolyn C.J. Jones, forgiveness expert, speaker, and coach, and the creator of the Change Your Life, Change Your Story, Change Your Life programs. I work with people so that they can identify a story that might be detrimental to them in their life, and we work together to change that story so it changes their life, and we do that using forgiveness.
Thank you, CJ. And now we have Debbie Hoffman. We are featuring Debbie tonight, and I'm really excited that she's here with us. She actually just flew in from Florida, right, Debbie?
Yep, and LA.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm really excited that you're here and that you're going to have a turn to be featured. So, Debbie, let's start off by sharing what it is that you do to support your clients.
Well, do you have a stack of business cards piling up on your desk? So many entrepreneurs are leaving a significant amount of money on the table due to ineffective follow-up skills. So I'm Debbie Hoffman, follow-up speaker, coach, and creator of Power Up Your Follow-Up. And with 33 years of experience, I help you to create a step-by-step follow-up blueprint so that you can get your message out and share your gifts in a huge way and make a big impact in the world. So that's what I do, Charlene. It's very rewarding.
Yes, I'm sure it is. But let's get to know Debbie Hoffman, the real Debbie behind the business. Are you ready for that?
I am ready.
Awesome, Debbie. You know, one of the things I always ask everybody that I work with is, what is it that called you to be a follow-up expert? What is it within your being? You could have been anything, but you chose to be a follow-up expert. Why?
Well, it's a very interesting story, actually, Charlene. I was a wellness industry entrepreneur for many, many years, helping people with their health. And one of my clients actually called me one day and pointed out to me that I had a gift to share with people, that I was really good at follow-up, and that other people, most people, sucked at it. They were really struggling with it. And so it wasn't a business I was really looking for. It just found me, and it's just been, I'm just very grateful for this friend that helped me see that I had something that could really make a difference with other people's lives and their businesses.
Yeah, what a blessing friends really are, right? They can really show you a new way of looking at things, and they can change your whole lifestyle in just a snap. It takes no time at all. So, Debbie, you know, I know you are out really working hard in the field, and I just want to know, do you feel like it's been difficult to get to the place where you are right now, or was it an easy evolution for you?
Well, actually, my journey was very challenging because we were doing really well. I was working on Wall Street. That's where it all started. And back then, it was me and the guys. And it was very hard. I had a lot to prove. And I struggled a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, including with follow-up, until I created a system, a follow-up system that changed everything for me. And I went on to become one of the top producers in my firm. And I decided at that point that I wanted to be my own boss and get out of the corporate rat race. I'm sure a lot of your listeners can relate to that. And so I came home and quit this six-figure income job that I'd had for 20 years. But it was the best decision of my life. And I got to be home with my family and make a difference there. And everything was going along just fine until the real estate market crashed. And my husband was a builder. We lost everything, Charlene. It was a very devastating point in our lives. We were forced to file bankruptcy. It was humiliating. It was a very, very low point in my life. And what really got me out of it was reaching out for mentorship and coaching, and they helped me get out of that dark, deep place. And utilizing my skills, my follow-up skills, helped me to rebuild my business. And then when this woman came into my life and shared with me about my gift with follow-up, it led me into this new journey. And so now I have a business that I'm so passionate about, and it's thriving, and I'm seeing my clients' businesses soar. So I was really down in a deep hole and came out of it, and these skills that I had were instrumental, along with very, very wonderful coaches and mentors who helped me through the journey.
That's beautiful, Debbie. I love that story. And, I'm sure there's a lot of us that can relate to it, because there's so many people that had a difficult time in 2007, 2008, and even longer, because they too lost their houses. So I know that a lot of people relate to how you felt and what an impact that makes on your life. But I have to congratulate you, Debbie, because you came through it, and now you've been able to support yourself and take care of others at the same time, right?
Yeah, it was not easy. It really wasn't. It took, every day a lot of courage. A lot of fear came up. There were lots of things that could have stopped me, but I just kept going because I had this passion. I knew I could make a difference, and I wanted to make it more about all of you than me. And so it took a lot. It took a lot of inner strength to get to this point, and I really want to inspire other people with that story, because so many people, like you said, have been through a lot. And I want you all to know that you can get through it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Wow, that's awesome, Debbie. And you're really someone to look up to and admire, like so many other women that have been booted out of their jobs or booted out of their home, or maybe they're in a divorce. I mean, there's so many people that have gone through this, and so many that don't make it through it. So many that don't make it through it. And they just sit around and live off the government. But there are those, like Debbie, who really pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and started over again and has done a great job. Good job, Debbie. Good job.
It's all about just looking, how they say, eating an elephant one bite at a time.
Yes.
That's really what I did, because otherwise it can be very overwhelming when you see this huge task in front of you to build this business, to rebuild your life. There's so much overwhelm that can take over. And I just took a step every day, just did one new thing every day. And now I have this business that I'm so grateful for that I never imagined having a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Wow. So does anybody have any questions for Debbie? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Okay, let's go to Iris. Hi, Iris.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Iris.
I want to ask you, what do you do for fun when you feel a little fatigue or you need to pep you up? What are the kinds of things you do that make you feel full of joy and vigor?
Coming from the joy expert, great question. I love nature and I love hiking. It rejuvenates my soul. It's not only great exercise, but it's like a whole mind, body, spirit thing for me. And so sometimes I just walk in the hills right out of my backyard where I live, and it's just the view and the scenery and going uphill. It just lights me up, and it even if I'm tired when I'm done with that hike, and sometimes it's just a short 20-30 minutes, whatever I can fit in, it totally changes my mood. The endorphins kick in.
Mm-hmm.
It just feeds my soul. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful.
Well, you've got me thinking about going on a hike once it stops raining.
Yeah, that's the issue right now. Rain.
Does anybody else have a question for Debbie? Sumaya.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Earlier you were sharing what happened when everything just fell apart and you lost your home, and you said you had to really dig deep to get through that period. And I'm just wondering, was there something internally that you did, that you drew from, that helped you get through that?
Yes, I started implementing a gratitude practice every day. So, because for a long, long time, to be honest with you, Samaya, I was being a victim about this whole thing, and I was very depressed, and it wasn't working, and I wasn't getting out of it. So I started with gratitude every morning before I got out of bed, and I ended my day that way. And I just focus on all the wonderful things that I do have or did have back then. I still do this today. And it just, again, endorphins kick in, and it just puts me in this amazing place to just feel really joyful and very grateful. So I really had to dig deep and put rituals into my practice, and the exercise and all that really helped as well. So I started doing things that created these endorphins to help me feel better every day. But that was a huge part of it.
Great, that's inspiring. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you for asking.
Awesome question, Sumaya. Anybody else have a question for Debbie? Okay, well, Debbie has an appointment that she needs to be at, and so I'm going to thank her for being a part of the show and spending this time with us, and let her run on her way. So thank you, Debbie, and we'll see you on the next hangout that we do together for the summit.
Thank you so much, Charlene. It's been a joy to be here, and enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you all soon.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye for now.
Bye. So next up we have Mary Knippel, the Writer Unleashed, and you're going to get to know Mary and why she chose to become a writer or a writer's coach. And, you know, I always wonder about this because so many people write books or write articles or whatever, and I always wonder, where did that come from when I read what it says? So, Mary, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, Charlene. I am so delighted to be here. I'm Mary Knippel, the Writer Unleashed, as I like to say, and I am the founder of YourWritingMentor.com. I chose that name because I want to help and support anyone who wants to get their message out there. You have a story to tell. We all have our own individual stories that is meant to help someone else in this world. And I've known since I was 11, when I started writing a journal, that words have power. And when you write them down, they can help you move from whatever is going on in your life to find a solution, to make a problem better, to feeling that you have some way of moving from what is going on to a bigger goal. And telling your story is important.
So Mary, I agree. Telling your story is really important. So I'll ask you, what made you decide that telling your story is important? What is it in you that creates that belief?
I think it goes back to when I started writing in a journal. It made a difference in my life. It was my way of coping in whatever was going on, whether I was hiding my journal from my older brother because he just had to know what was important enough for me to write down. And to this day, when I'm writing in my journal, I am processing things and figuring out solutions of what I want to do with my life. And being able to get that out of my body and onto the page has such healing power. And knowing that the difference is going to be in being able to look at it a different way, to be able to find a solution, to listen to the intuition that's coming from my heart and not all of the strategy in my head. And when you had mentioned about people who are writing articles and writing books, they are following their own path in that they want to share a message with the world. And I've discovered that my passion is helping others find the words. I write my own journals and turn some of that into my blogs and articles that I'm putting out there. But the biggest thing that I'm here to do is to find the way and the words for you to get your message out there.
So Mary, I don't think I heard how young you were when you first started writing. How old were you at that time?
I was 11 when I started my journal, and I still keep a journal.
So what is it that made you gravitate toward your journal?
It was being able to have a conversation with someone who would understand me and not judge me.
Okay, that's awesome. So how did it come into your mind? Did you just learn about it in school, or did how was that thought brought to you?
Oh, that's a good question, because there are some teachers that encourage you to be putting your thoughts down on paper, and other teachers who want you to follow the rules of composition and not do any free writing. And we had Sister Jessica, who gave us permission to write a paragraph that was just how you were feeling, and that started it.
Wow. So an important figure in your life presented the idea. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So when you were a child, did you have a say in what went on around your life? Because I know I didn't have much say personally, and that's why I spent time with a journal. But I didn't really start until I was 14, so you started younger than me.
Well, I was part of a big family, and the structure was really important, because when you have so many children, things have to run smoothly when someone is in charge, and I was not in charge.
I see. So since you weren't in charge, then you could be in charge with your journal. Is that right?
Definitely in charge with my journal. Yes.
And would you say that that's how you coach people today, is to express themselves in a journal?
Absolutely, because so many people don't think that their story matters, and I'm here as a mirror and a sounding board, and to help them be an architect that their story does matter, and getting it out of their body and onto the page is the first step in how they are going to move forward with it. And that's the way I worked with my journal as well, because there were times when coping with what was going on in life, such as coming home and finding your husband at the kitchen table with a realtor because the job wasn't there anymore, or getting the diagnosis of breast cancer in a form letter. You know, that's something that not a lot of people have gotten. And writing in my journal was a way for me to use the tools that I had at the end of my fingertips to be able to figure out, what do I do next? What's important? And moving forward.
Wow, Mary, that's so heartfelt. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We really got a chance to get to know you and why you feel that writing is so important. And you know, you're right, it does actually put your story out, and sometimes it leaves your story behind so that people who didn't know what you were really thinking will find out, right? I mean,
yes.
Don't some writers have a concern about that?
Well, and I am so passionate about it, because the first reader that you want to move with your writing is yourself. And that's how I know that I'm really digging deep, is when I tear up doing my own stuff. So I encourage you to be able to touch yourself with your writing and know that you are making a difference in your own life.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Mary. Thank you so much for that. Does anyone have questions for Mary? CJ, go ahead.
Great. Hi, Mary.
Hi, CJ.
I'd like to know, do you find it as effective in healing to write pen to paper, to actually do that physical contact, versus writing on the computer? Do you get the same effect of healing if you're just typing in the computer?
Well, I am adamant that pen to paper is the best way. If it turns out that you can't do pen to paper, then using the computer is a resource that I would encourage, because I want you to do it. But you're using a different part of your brain when you're typing on the keyboard, as opposed to having that visceral pen and moving across the page. Just the same way when I'm giving a collage class and helping people tap into their creativity, people are looking for a pair of scissors, and I go, oh no, we are ripping that page. You are in a different part of your brain when you're using that scissors, because you want things to be just the right angle, but there's a lot of freedom in being able to rip that paper.
Wow, very interesting.
The way to go. Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, very interesting.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good answer, Mary. Does anybody else have a question for Mary? How about Lorri?
Well, I was wondering what books you've written. Maybe what was your first one that came out, or what was your favorite book?
Well, I am working on my first book right now. It's all about the secret artist. Give yourself permission to let your creativity shine. So it's part memoir and part journal, in that it gives you writing prompts at the end of every chapter, which are really standalone essays about my breast cancer experience. I find that has just evolved out. It has evolved out of my journal writing, so that it's my story, but it's also an opportunity for you to tell your story. Thanks.
Wow, that's an awesome concept.
Yes, it is.
In other words, you could tell your story, and they get to tell their story at the same time. That's a great way for co-creation. I love that.
Yes, thank you.
Lorri, you were saying something? I'm sorry.
No, I just said thank you. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Does anybody else have a question for Mary? Dot, did you have a question, or did I see Cynthia's hand up before?
I had a question.
Oh.
I'd like to go back to, I always hear you saying the writer unleashed. What is it that you mean by unleashed?
Well, thank you, Dot. That's an excellent question. Unleashed is to release yourself from whatever you think, oh, I can't do that. Who's going to listen to me? What difference is my story? I use unleashed because you have the freedom and the ability to choose letting go of what's been holding you back and move forward with your free expression of who you are and the beautiful story that you have to tell.
Thank you. Thank you. And what I heard from your sharing of your story, I would use the term that every morning you have an appointment with your higher power, your inner spirit, to be in sacred ceremony. And I just was aware that to me would be what I would call it.
Well, it is a sacred ceremony. It's my ritual. It's my morning routine. I use the language that I think my audience is going to connect with. But it all comes down to, this is how I connect. Pen to paper, lighting a candle, and playing some pretty music, and having my cup of tea. That's part of my ritual as well.
And your inner spirit.
And my inner spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome, Mary. Thank you so much for that. And I know that you have just wonderful things to share with others, and I really appreciate that you shared from your heart tonight.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. And now we'll have Lorri. Lorri, I love that Lorri's here with us tonight. And poor Lorri came all the way from Santa Cruz. And Lorri, share with us a little bit about what it is that you're doing and why you were in Santa Cruz. What's going on there?
Well, Charlene, I'm a nutritional biochemist and holistic health coach. I understand the frustration that women have with their bodies, their changing bodies after the age of 40. And as a scientist, I really look at what's going on with the body and help women in very easy, simple ways to live those 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond in just a very joyful state and understanding their bodies. And yes, in Santa Cruz we have been flooding. So I was out actually just doing some flood damage control with my horse, because we've had a lot of rain, but it's a good thing.
Well, Lorri, I just love where you come from, that space that you come from, and the fact that you love being outdoors with your horse. Share with us, how being with your horse relates to the love of what you do.
Well, if anyone has ever had a relationship with a horse, one of the best positive aspects is you have to be fully authentic and present when you're with your horse. If you're thinking negative thoughts or you're thinking about work and you're not being present, they feel that. And my guy, he feels it. So it's this renewing of the soul every time I go out to see him, because I know that I am just with him. He sees all of me, of who I am. If I've had a bad day, I can talk about it a little, but then he's like, let's go have some fun. And it's also my workout time. And one thing that I recently learned is our cortisol levels actually rise a little around 4 o'clock, which is when I go see him. And if you don't go do a little bit of exercise around that time, you may find yourself going for sugar. And that's usually when I go out to see him. And it's so true. I exercise, I feel good with him, I ride him, or I just hang out with him. And I come back and I don't have any sugar cravings at all because I've had that time with him and that energy release.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So how long did it take you to get rid of your sugar cravings?
Well, there's a lot that also goes into sugar cravings. It's a lot of it is getting rid of the toxins in your body, and so I did a 30-day very gentle detoxing with essential oils, and after that, I had zero sugar cravings. And
Wow.
Being a nutritional biochemist, I look at sugar maybe differently than other people because sugar to me is inflammation. Inflammation leads to disease. So I really have no sugar cravings. My body doesn't want it, I don't want it, and I just don't go there.
Wow. Lucky you. I mean, they say that sugar is like cocaine now, so. But what I wanted to do was ask you, what is it that made you become a scientist? Why did that seem close to your heart?
Well, when I got my undergraduate degree, which was in animal science, and I was going to go on and be a veterinarian, but after working for veterinarians for 4 years, I decided I didn't want to do that. But I stayed in the veterinary field, and for the next, 15 years, I worked in veterinary hospitals. But through that time, I was a competitive bodybuilder, and I decided to do that just for fun and interest. And it was through being a competitive bodybuilder for 3 years that the whole area of nutrition and vitamin supplements and the whole biotech world was taking off in the 90s, that I decided to go back to school, get a master's in chemistry, really with my emphasis in biochemistry and molecular biology. And when I came out from that, that really took me on that path of being a nutritional biochemist. And of course, it wasn't until I went through my 40s that I saw this whole change going on, but I looked at it from a chemist point of view. So it was like, ooh, that's interesting. Let's see about that. Yeah, it was a whole science experiment for me, but I came through it just fine. I'm, going through menopause. I don't have any symptoms, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping women to do that.
Wow. Going through menopause and no symptoms. I mean, I rarely hear anybody say that. I mean, they're either waving a fan or they're crabby or they're craving carbs, and you're saying you don't have anything.
It's very rare for me to have symptoms, but the majority of symptoms in menopause are caused from cortisol. So we're stressing our bodies out, we're producing cortisol, and that is what is causing the majority of the symptoms in menopause. So when I help women just address the stress, the symptoms a lot of times will decrease also.
So are you telling me that you never have any stress either?
I do, but my reaction to stress is very different. So I acknowledge it, and whether I need to use essential oils or something, but the stress goes around me. It doesn't go through me. And just being aware of a stressful moment, recognizing it, thinking of maybe why is it stressing me out? Do I have any control over it? Usually that's no. Sometimes it's yes, but how you react. If you're telling your body you're stressed out, your body's producing cortisol, and that causes more health issues than anything, more than decline of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. Cortisol is really the issue.
So have you had no health problems in your life as a result of knowing all of this?
It is true. I mean, I am the only person in my family that is not on any prescription medication. I mean, and I have diabetes, heart disease, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, you know, all that is, it's all in the family, but not necessarily because I have not chose to go there. I mean, health problems for me has been like when I fell off my horse, and yeah, I hurt my head a little and had to have emergency brain surgery, but I recovered from that in a day.
I love that. I hurt my head a little, had to have emergency brain surgery, but here I am.
Big.
Well, I just wanted to ask, does anybody have a question for Lorri at all? Cynthia.
Hi, Lorri.
Hi, Cynthia.
I just love talking with you and finding out all of the interesting things that you know about the body and how to manage it. And one of the things I've observed in you is a huge curiosity about things. And so how has that played a role in what you're doing and how you manage your own health as well as supporting others?
Well, again, I'm a scientist, and I'm always looking to look at new research. So when I see a problem, I like to solve it. And of course, I like to see if there's any new research out there. And to me, it is fun. Some people like to watch TV. I like to go and look up new research and read stuff and, you know, read new books. And I sometimes am just a sponge. But I wanted to be able to explain things to people in an easy to understand way. But yes, I am a very, very curious person. And so I'm always listening and asking questions to just find out what is it out there that people want to know, because I wanna look it up. And it reminded me of when we were growing up, we had this huge set of encyclopedias on our bookshelf. And instead of watching TV at night, my mom or my dad would ask us a question, and we would go to the encyclopedias and look it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
I wonder you're an encyclopedia, walking like Awesome.
Yeah, and that's awesome, Lorri. You know, and your parents were pretty smart to instill that in you in the first place. What an awesome idea. I wish parents did that with all the kids, but now they just go to the computer. They don't even have to look it up on a page. What's a page? Right? Does anyone else have a question for Lorri? Is that you, Dot?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Well, I loved your story, Lorri, and I love the fact that you look for natural ways to be healthy. I'm curious about how you got involved with using essential oils, because I'm an oil user too.
Well, one of my friends that I met at a horse clinic, we stayed in touch, and she held an essential oil class, and it was interesting because I just saw it on Facebook, and I thought, ooh, I've heard about essential oils. I wonder how they work in the body. And so I decided to go to the class, and there was actually a book there that had a whole chapter on the chemistry of essential oils. And they're talking about the oils and passing them around, but I'm looking in this book, and it has the benzene structures and all the structures of the essential oils. And I remember them saying, well, if you get this package, you get the book for free. That was it. I wanted that, and I wanted the book, and yeah. So I was able to take the book home that night. My essential oils came later, but I've just had a great time. It's been probably 4 years now since I've been introduced to essential oils, and I learn something every day with them. But just learning how the essential oils actually work in the body as compared to how pharmaceutical drugs work in the body is something that has just been really fascinating for me to study.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Awesome. You know what? I always wondered who read those books. I look at those books and go, what is this? I don't even know what this is. And I put it down. And I always thought, who the heck reads those books? Now I know it's Lorri that reads. Wow, we got the inside scoop on you now, Lorri.
Yes.
All right. Does anybody have a final question for Lorri? No? Okay. Well, Lorri, thank you so much. You were wonderful, and so was Mary and Debbie. And I hope all of you had a good time on the panel tonight, and that our TV watchers had a good time learning a few things about us. So until our next one, I look forward to having you maximize your wealth now in business, finance, family, and lifestyle. And we will see you on the Ultimate Summit 2016 warm-up number 4 next Monday night at 5:30 Pacific time. Good night, all.